My never I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
At the Flagstaff House on Friday, May 29, 2026, shortly before his departure for the UK. Sources familiar with the meeting said President Mahama used his occasion to put to rest persistent speculation about a possible third-term bid, a subject that has generated considerable debate within sections of the ruling party and the wider political landscape. The Elders Council, chaired by Alhaji Mahama Drisu and attended by several veteran party figures, including some who have been associated with the party since the PNDC military era, was convened primarily to address growing concerns over premature succession campaigns within the NDC. Now, according to sources, President Mahama firmly reiterated that he would not seek another presidential mandate beyond his current term, reinforcing remarks he first made during a state visit to Singapore last year. Now, the intervention comes amid increasing tensions within the governing party over succession politics, with reports suggesting that rivalry among supporters of various potential presidential aspirants has begun affecting constituency and regional party activities. Notably, the meeting took place without the participation of the NDC's General Secretary Fifi Avikwete. He wasn't there. Johnson and Sidiketa, both of whom have publicly rejected calls for President Mahama to seek a third term. The issue has become increasingly contentious within party circles amid growing public advocacy by some supporters urging the president to explore constitutional avenues that could allow another presidential bid. Some proponents have argued that the Supreme Court should be invited to interpret whether the constitutional two-term limit applies only to consecutive terms or to the total number of terms a president serves throughout his or her political career. However, the party's leadership has consistently dismissed such suggestions. The matter is actually in court. Somebody's taking the matter to court anyway. I think one knee something is taking the matter to court. So we'll see what the court will say. But obviously, should this lay the matter to rest finally? Or you think there are some questions to ask?
Well, I think first of all, this is a masterstroke from President John Dramani Mahama. Clearly, a masterstroke. And you recall that when this discussion started, I made the point that I was not expecting the Mahama I knew to go for a third term.
Right, I recall.
And that if he went for a third term, it would surprise me, because I've known him over many years. And I didn't think that the Mahama I knew would opt for a third term. I made this very clear from the very beginning. The other thing that I think is important to state is that there was no offer for him to accept or reject. The Constitution is very clear. He cannot go for a third term, okay? So it's not like there was an offer, that he has refused. He couldn't have gone for a third term. Indeed, if he had to go for a third term, it would have entailed an amendment of the Constitution and some political maneuvering and so on, which in the end would have destroyed his image, his legacy, and so on, and weakened the National Democratic Congress considerably. Now, it's important that the party, the National Democratic Congress, at least its executive committee, took a very strong public stand that he would not go for a third term. The party is not interested in campaigning for a third term for President John Dramani Mahama. That was the party position too. Notwithstanding that, there were a few people who actually even went to the extent of printing T-shirts and campaign materials and so on. I can understand that. These are people who have no confidence in the Ghanaian population. There are 36 million Ghanaians. To actually think that only one out of the 36 is capable of leading the country, I think is a big insult to the whole country. And I think it speaks to the lack of confidence in the Ghanaian population and so on. Now, those people, the effect of what they were doing, if they were taken seriously, or if President Mahama agreed to go along with them, would have been to poison the whole political atmosphere and reduce Ghana to the level that some other countries have fallen to. You understand? This kind of crazy ambition has in some instances actually led to civil war and so on. It has disfigured, political structures in many countries. And I don't think that we needed to have that in Ghana. So, as I say, this is a masterstroke by President John Dramani Mahama. Look, President John Dramani Mahama, I suspect, knows the ground very well. And if you watch all his political career, he's made some very interesting, very well thought through moves, which are highly commendable. And I think that this is one of them.
Right.
Now, with regards to the clamor to succeed him, it's obvious.
Right.
This clamor, if it's not stopped, will lead to the emergence of factions within government. And factionalism in any government can bring the government down. Okay. It can also lead to a situation where there will be a total lack of focus on the reset agenda. Right. Total lack of focus. And that could have serious consequences for the 2028 elections. You understand? There are many reasons why this clamor, this mayhem, which is developing as a result of personal ambitions and so on, can be very harmful, not just to the National Democratic Congress, but also to the country. Because, and more, I'm sure you've heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard situations where agencies and ministries and so on have claimed that they are not getting the needed resources, to achieve the objectives which have been set for them by the reset agenda. And they suspect that that is happening because the finance minister is interested in becoming president and is directing resources to areas which will enhance his own bid to become president. That may not be true.
Yeah.
That may be completely false. It may be completely baseless. But if you have the atmosphere in which everybody is jostling to replace the president, and his name keeps coming up all the time, it may lend some undeserved credibility to that speculation.
Yeah.
You understand? So he, for example, I'm sure, in his own interest, ought to make clear statements, about his lack of interest in the race because of where he is now. You understand? He is sitting on top of the public purse. Of course, he's acting on behalf of the president, but he is the direct person in charge of the public purse. He decides, to a very large extent, how much will go to roads ministry, how much will go to Ministry of Trade, and so on. If that exercise of power is seen to be in furtherance of his own personal ambition to become president, he's done for. And it would affect the government in very serious ways. So for a finance minister, it's important that he makes a declaration that he's not interested.
But Uncle, isn't it early days yet?
That's the more reason why you should make that declaration.
Because today he can get up and say he's not interested. Tomorrow he'll get up and say he's interested.
If you just allow me to finish.
Sure, please do.
And if he's interested, he should walk out of the door. Two options.
Right.
You are interested, walk out of the door and go and pursue that ambition.
Right.
You are not interested, make a public declaration, as President John Dramani has made.
Right.
You can't stay in the middle and nobody is sure whether you are interested or you are not interested and bring about this confusion and rivalry and so on. You have to make a declaration, one way or the other. You understand? Why? Everybody who is 40 years and above qualifies to be a member of parliament and is Ghanaian can become president. So that's a fact.
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
You can't run away from it. But you see, if you join a political party or any other organization and so on, there is the assumed position that your personal ambitions and so on will be subordinated to the ambition of the general membership.
That's true.
You understand? That assumption is key. Otherwise, you are not a member of the organization. Okay. So all of these people who have been flying kites and doing all kinds of things and so on should understand that for as long as they remain members of a political party,
right,
their personal ambitions must be subordinate to the overall ambition of the political party.
Right.
That's one leg.
Right.
The other thing which is also extremely important is that, Moro, you know, all the studies which have been done by CDD and so on, what does it say about the resources needed to prosecute such an ambition?
$100 million.
100 million US dollars.
Yes.
If you want to be president of Ghana, you need to have a minimum of $100 million in your back pocket.
Yes. And this does not even include how much you spend to become flag bearer. That's also
You see now?
Yeah.
So let's say that there are 10, 20 people clamoring for this position. By inference, these 20 people, in clamoring for that position, are also looking for $100 million.
Yes. Absolutely.
What does that tell you? Are you not worried? Are you not worried about that?
But
That itself is a source of worry.
yeah, but it will do crowdsourcing. People will small. Just like this morning. I mean, Neil was asking you to contribute small. So you one T-shirt there, 2 T-shirts there. You know, I won't be worried about that.
You won't be worried about the
One
implications
T-shirt
of
there,
that.
2 T-shirts there.
Well, I am very, very worried about the full implications
Kwesi.
of that.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
But that is not all.
Right.
That is not all. Anybody in the NDC who does not realize that 2028 can only be won on the good record, and I mean good record of this government, has lost it. If the NDC performs badly, the NDC can go and bring Angel Gabriel. The Angel Gabriel, they can go and bring the Angel Gabriel. They can come with frankincense and all of that, whatever. It will not be possible to win the elections.
Because they failed.
Yeah. But if at the end of 2028, the NDC leaves a good record, the big push, the objectives of the big push would have been achieved. Inflation remains as low as it is. The currency is stable. The food situation has improved and so on. Free SHS has been expanded and so on. It's automatic. It is the record of this government which will decide whether an NDC candidate wins or not. So those who claim to be ambitious, those who claim to want to replace Mahama and so on, let them get to work. Let them get to work. Let them show good reason why any Ghanaian will want to vote for an NDC candidate in 2008. You understand?
But is that to discount the importance of the figure, the arrowhead? Yes, you performed well, but if you put just anybody there, the party will struggle.
The first thing is for the party to perform well.
I get it.
The first and most important.
But you also agree with that is not enough.
But you know what is even more worrying?
Yes.
These people who are going around campaigning to replace John Mahama.
Yes.
You know one of the things they say? That, very soon he'll become a lame duck.
Yes.
What does that mean? It means that very soon they will not even respect him anymore.
Well.
They will not take his instructions. They will not take his leadership. If he becomes a lame duck, what does that mean?
Kwesi, that's
It
always,
means that he has no influence.
that is true. Kwesi, that's our reality as a people. Usually the president's final
The people who are working with the president,
should not be
the
saying things
people
like
the
that.
president has appointed to help him achieve his goals and so on, are turning around and telling us in the public that, don't mind him. Very soon he's going to be a lame dog. Very soon he will be of no consequence and so on. And the president will keep them in his government. Sack them! One time, just sack them.
Who is this person?
Huh?
Who is this person?
Whoever thinks that very soon the president is going to be a lame dog is implying that very soon he would not work with the president's instructions.
Maybe the president is not aware.
Well, if he's not aware, then there's a problem with his intelligence. If he's not aware, then there's a problem with his intelligence. Now, these people are going around the country. They're having conversations with their sponsors. They're having conversations with their supporters. They are doing all kinds of things. The intelligence must pick these things up.
Yeah.
The president must be adequately briefed, about what is happening on the ground. And he has to advise himself accordingly.
Okay.
I'm hoping, just hoping, that they would listen to the advice of the Council of Elders.
I was just about to ask you.
I'm hoping that they will listen to the advice of the Council of Elders and they will conduct themselves properly. If they don't, the president will have no choice than to crack the whip and to crack it well.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
To crack it with vim.
Me? When I say you, the MPP was a bit uncomfortable when this whole third-term agenda was discussed, and you have said you fight it fiercely with all the might that you can muster. Now we're told, finally, last, okay, he's not going anymore.
Moro, because he has spoken well, but I think that if we want to go by that statement, I will have said that the question put before the president by the Council of Elders and this was totally needless. And why do I say this? The president on quite a number of platforms have made it categorical that he's not interested in a third term. So why do you want to trap him? Why do you want to trap the president to commit him on his word? So for me, I felt it was totally needless. And when you look at...
It is possible that even though I agree with you that the president may have stated it publicly that he's not interested.
That's why I said they wanted... and that is for the sake of certain interests within their party.
Yes.
And you see, when you look at some history and some presidents of our continent, their conduct in amending their constitution for the sake of staying in power, you realize that the insecurity in their country is up there.
True.
One is, you remember, even Ouattara, Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
He did it in 2020. Okay? Alpha Conde, Guinea, in March 2020. Nyasingbe's son, Fure.
Yeah. Four
Nyasingbe in 2019.
Yeah.
And last year, look at the problem they had in Togo, where you amended the constitution, they want to. What's this? Obia, over 90 years. The Speaker of Parliament is over 80 years. Head of National Security is over 80 years. You look at all these characters and they said they want to hold on to power. And you still want to cling to power. Yoweri Museveni, he amended the constitution. Obia, Ismail Omar Gula in Djibouti. So you look at all these presidents we have in Africa and they still want to hold on to power. You are not helping your cause. So, in fact, if the president has agreed to go on a third term, he will have set this country into an event. Yes, this country will have been on a heat because it's not going to help us. A whole soldier for 11 years who governed us with gun before he metamorphosed himself into a constitutional rule. 19 years. Could not amend the constitution.
Yeah.
He buy out graciously. May he so rest in peace. President Rawlings, he could not amend the constitution. When even he was at his peak, he said, look, I've done my bit. So let me go and usher the country into constitution. President Kufuor could not amend it. Professor Mills, may he so rest in peace. He couldn't finish. President Mahama continued. 2016. So he just want to fulfill his second term and he has done it. But I can tell you, the NDC, they are crying because they know they don't have a better candidate. That's why they are crying.
They don't?
No, I'm telling you. Because Kwesi said something. He said it is based on their performance that will determine 2028.
So that will be retained.
Even when they bring Inge Gabriel, Inge Michael. But the situation we find ourselves in, the economic theory that the NDC have practiced, reduce inflation, reduce interest rate, reserves over there. But the reality when you go on the ground, It's not what it's reflecting. Except where you live in Mars. And you don't want to face the reality. That is not what is happening there. Where you sterilize the economy and take all these monies in the name of government bills. The dynamic reserve ratio that the MPP promoted to make sure that those banks, these local banks, who could not give credit to the private sector, they find interest lazily, they find interest in government bills. They just go and dig and off they go without investing in critical sectors of the economy. I was watching Parliament on social media where the standard statistical service is telling us that the statistics of unemployment are shot up than before in 2024. Your own economic policy, a major economic policy, 24-hour economy policy, a very fantastic, brilliant idea policy to create jobs. Now we are not seeing the head and tail of it. If the whole secretariat even closes at 4 or 5. When Guzi was telling that he would need about $4 billion to handle this 24-hour economic policy, how much was allotted to them in the budget last year, this year? A paltry sum. So the 24-hour economy that is a driving force, okay, to create jobs for the youth, we are not seeing it. Cocoa farmers, today they are crying. Cocoa farmers are crying. And I wonder if NDC will have the boldness and go to cocoa farming communities to go and campaign. We are waiting for them. High tariffs of utilities. At the time when the dollar was even 16, 17, 14, they were not paying that exorbitant tariffs on power. I wonder what industries are going through today. Up there, high tariffs the industries are paying. When the cedi and the dollar are like twins. Inflation is 3.2%. And you are paying high tariffs of power. We are waiting for them. Galamsey fight. Galamsey fight. My brother is here. In our time, Kwesi was up there talking. Today, what I was saying. Now the president has owned up that his own party people are leading the charge in the Galamsey fight. The water has not changed. It's even worse than before. You see national security operatives holding raffles, going into forestry commission officers in these forest areas. They go and lock up these officers of forestry commission staff who are fighting the Galamseyers. And I recall the president on the platform, campaign platform, saying that when he comes, he's going to arrest all the Galamsey kingpins. All those by-day guys who go and hustle for get something by day, they are not the right people to be arrested. Today, what I was saying. What are the Galamsey kingpins? Mr. President, you have failed in the Galamsey fight. We are waiting for them. Women's Bank. Women's Bank. Today, the minimum capital is 400 million Ghana cedis. Where is the Women's Bank? They promised the women. Woman, maybe.
You haven't heard
why do we need
the seed capital which has been given 50 million cedis
please.
For them to study.
We are in the 6th month. 18 months in his government.
My point is...
The women are still expectant.
No, my point is something...
Cool down.
Okay.
Cool down.
Okay.
I brought myself here about.
Okay.
What you told the people is what you should bring. So we're waiting for them. When the Bank of Ghana is making losses of 44 billion cedis, just to hold the neck of the cedi against the dollar. When minority was trying to point out some of these things along, it was not 15 billion you spent. You lost 44 billion Ghana cedis just to make sure that the dollar in the cedi, you are promoting other economies. Promoting other economies because of importation. Destroying all local industries. So we can go on and on and on and on and on. Today, look at their performance at the African Games at the Botema. So disaster. Look at what happened at Botema. I was watching the thing. He was going to jump holding the stick. It broke it. You are running and you don't have meters. Oh my goodness. So is that what they are going to show in 2028? And I don't see anything changing. So Mr. President, I respect his decision that he has agreed not to alter the constitution because he's a supreme God. He's controlling parliament. He's controlling what they call the executive. He has changed the Chief Justice and all that. So what can he do? He can do anything. I say, look, I'm a Democrat. I've done my bit. Whoever wants to succeed me, they can do it. So whatever is going on, I don't foresee anything changing in this decision of the Council of Elders because Executive Ketia is charged. Moro, it's charged, Papa. It's charged, Papa.
How do you know?
President Executive Ketia, it's charged rough.
Why?
He was the thing now.
How do you know?
Yeah, how do I know? The president is campaigning. Haruna was telling us that we have two types of
thank you tour. He is thanking the party's rank and file for reposing confidence in the party and bringing the party back to power.
Hold it there.
How is that campaigning?
Hold on. When you are doing a thank you tour,
yes,
it's an amalgam of the president and the party that go together.
Yes.
You don't have the president doing his own separately.
No, that was what he promised.
Moro, but
he had promised.
Promise who?
He had promised the electorates that regardless of the outcome of the 2024 elections,
look, all these things are camouflage.
And thank the party.
You can say that publicly, but I need you know what you do.
So you are one of those who believe in campaigning.
He's doing campaign now.
Oh, but that's not fair to him.
Oh, what is not fair? This is clear. That is why Haruna said his thank you tour is fake. The original thank you tour is what the president is doing.
Did Haruna mention Asidun Ketia's name?
But he went to
not the other
he went to Lameshebu, the heart of Tamale, Haruna's constituency, and he threw the bomb. That he made sure he changed him from the leadership of parliament. So Haruna not to have to throw the salvo. So clearly there is fire on the mountain.
He was the same national chairman who said it in Lamshebu that he, Asidun Ketia, played a pivotal role
to make Haruna
in the appointment of Haruna and Muntaka and Co. It's the other guy.
But he changed it.
So, and he went ahead to say that they are his friends. They are very good friends.
So he changed it.
I don't know why you want to put a word between Haruna.
Add it by saying that when he wanted to change them, President Mahama said, please don't do it. But he said he's the coach.
Yes.
Sitting back.
Yes. Yes.
And he watched that he think that he must change his front line.
Yes.
He forgot himself that when he was the General Secretary in 2016, when he lost abysmally, and in 2020, he was still in charge. So, NDC winning 2024 is not about the changing of the leadership of Parliament. There are so many factors.
Okay.
You understand? Because I know you want to talk. Cool down. So, I don't see the way you are eager. Let me flow. I beg you. The way you are eager, you are doing your highlight. It's naturally. Let me flow, big bro. Let me flow. So clearly, Moro, there's fire on the mountain.
Oh, titles.
As to who wants to succeed the president, it's a problem, and every president would love to have. It is not strange.
Yeah.
It is not.
It's not strange.
It is not strange. For us, we are done with our own. We have gone through the fire. And God willing, we have Dr. Baumia that we want to market him so well. Managing this country has nothing to do with your religion. It's about your capacity, your vision, and your experience, how you want to govern this country.
Okay.
So for us, we'll make sure we market Dr. Baumia so well to build this country. So we're waiting for whoever will succeed. Whether it's Jane Professor or Julius Debra or Esedun Ketia or Asfaru Nedrisu, is hiding behind Professor Jina Nopokwajiman. Recently, I heard that my big brother, Professor Jushalabi, I was reading something on social media that somebody is pushing. Those who will come and try. But the president knows who will succeed him. You know that?
Okay.
The president knows who will succeed him. So we thank the president for this laudable decision, behaving as a true Democrat, that he doesn't want to rock the feathers, that he wants Ghana to be united as he met it, and he will live like that to ensure that this is our country thrive. But for what is happening here? Deja vu.
Okay. Kwesi.
Moro, the constitutional provision is very clear. There's no ambiguity at all.
Right.
I refer to Article 66, subsection 2 of the 1992 Constitution. And it reads, a person shall not be elected to hold office as President of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Finish. It's so clear, there's no ambiguity. This does not require any interpretation anywhere. It's so very, very clear.
Okay.
But sitting here, sometimes me makes me confused.
How?
It makes me completely confused. I was sitting here wondering whether we were discussing the State of the Nation address or the manifesto of the political parties and so on, because he brought everything in there.
No, he drew inspiration from the statement you made that if the party does well at the polls, and he is saying that the party is not doing well, they won't do well before 2028.
So that became the main focus of his
conversation.
The main focus.
Yes.
The real focus of the conversation about a third term for president and was lost.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But he's entitled to that. I mean, I'm not going to, Look, here is the point. And this is a very important point. Presidents under our constitution are elected for a 4-year term. Okay. It's expected that at the end of the 4 years, they would have fulfilled the promises that they made. So you can't, in the first week of the administration, any administration, come and say that they have failed. They haven't realized this, they haven't realized that. You can't, at the end of the first year, come to a conclusion that they have failed. No, they still have 3 years to fulfill their mandate. In this particular case, I think we are in the 17th month.
17th month, yes.
Of this administration. Look at the number of months they have to fulfill the administration. And if you take some of the things that Nee spoke about, it is clear that some work has begun. If you take national infrastructure and so on, you can see that some work has begun. Yeah. Women's Development Bank and so on, some work has
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.